Name one gas that contributes to acid rain. They want name, they don't want formula. Although you know the formula would be like SO2, SO3, things like that, right? So you can easily talk about sulfur dioxide. You could also talk about trioxide. But they just want one gas and they want the name. So, don't give a formula, yeah? Okay. What else? State one environmental consequence of an increase in carbon dioxide in the air. So that will lead to the one environmental consequence, right? So lead to global warming. So global warming is stating the thing. Therefore, constant heat wave. So it gets very, very hot. Constant heat wave can kill plants. Okay, they are talking about environmental consequence. Can kill plants. Okay, maybe I don't want to talk about killing plants. Environmental consequences. Environmental can melt polar ice cap. I'm sure if you talk about plants, they'll be alright as well. Yeah. Okay. How do you get carbon monoxide? So carbon monoxide is produced from incomplete combustion, right? But how do you get it in air? So you can CO, which is carbon monoxide. Actually, I'm not sure whether you do CO. Let me just do carbon monoxide then. From incomplete combustion of fossil fuels. From incomplete combustion of fossil. Do you use fossil fuels? Fossil fuels. Okay, you need to process the fossil fuels. So from complete combustions of fuels, of cars or motor vehicles. Okay, they use petroleum or whatever. If they combust incompletely, then they wouldn't just give you carbon dioxide and water. They will give you carbon monoxide. They can also give you carbon soot particle as well. Yeah. Okay. How do you get sulfur dioxide in the atmosphere? So it's an atmospheric pollutant. So you get it from combustion of fossil fuels. But then you think about it, your fossil fuels mostly contain hydrocarbon, but these are fossil fuels that contain traces of sulfur. So only then you can get that. But then they just say one source. You could also get it from volcanic eruption as well. So there is the nature source. This is nature that can give you SO2. This is man-made. So both are acceptable because they just say one source, unless they specify state one natural source. There will be volcanic eruption. I mean, you can't make a volcano erupt, yeah? Or state one man-made source, that would be the combustion of fossil fuels, but not all fossil fuels contain sulfur, so it has to be fossil fuels that contain traces of sulfur, yeah? Now describe and explain how sulfur dioxide contribute to acid rain. So earlier we talked about oxides of non-metal, right? So oxides of non-metal are acidic. Okay, so sulfur dioxide react with oxygen to form sulfur trioxide. Okay, you know about this reaction, SO2 plus O2 give you SO3. Well, I can use half, or you can multiply the whole thing by 2. Okay, this is your contact process. In the industry, this is done in a reactor. In nature, because we are talking about atmosphere, this is a reaction that can happen also. Okay, but then they don't just happen just like that. Okay, so because we don't have a catalyst, we don't have a high pressure system, we don't have high temperature, in the atmosphere, right? So what actually happens, it goes stepwise. It can react to form you sulfur trioxide. The sulfur trioxide can react with rainwater to form acid rain. Well, to form H2SO4 in the acid rain. So in the final step of the contact process, you go via the oleum, right? But by right, when you dissolve sulfur trioxide in water, it can give you H2SO4. That is very exothermic in industry. That's why you go via oleum. But when you just react with rainwater, it can give you the H2SO4, which is actually part of the acid rain. Yeah? I'm going to show you two equations now, which I don't think you do in O-level, but this is actually the chemistry behind it, and I hope you can appreciate what is going on. All right, so the SO2 reacts with NO. These are oxides of nitrogen, which you can get from lightning or from your car engine as well. So a little bit of it in the atmosphere actually give you NO2. That reacts with NO2, then that gives you NO plus SO3. So this is a redox. This gains the oxygen, this undergo oxidation. This loses the oxygen, this undergo reduction. This is one of those cases where I really like the gain and the loss of oxygen because it's really easy to see the redox, right? And that SO3 can react with water to give you H2SO4. This is rain, water. This is the acid present in rainwater, is acid rain. This is basically what happens to give you the SO3. Why not react with oxygen? Because technically this doesn't happen straight away, alright? It goes via this step. Partly because this is a catalyzed step, but I think in O-level they will accept if you just say reacts with oxygen to give you the SO3 and so on, alright? So this might not be required at O-level, but you can see the equations are balanced. This is exactly what happens, alright? Next bit, how does combustion of fossil fuel lead to the formation of acid rain? Alright, so you should know about acid rain in case study. So you have traces of sulfur. So you don't get a lot of sulfur in fossil fuel for obvious reason, yeah, okay? I mean, you want hydrocarbon and fossil fuel. So these are actually before crude oil, so before processing, okay? So traces of sulfur in fossil fuel burn, so sulfur plus oxygen, they will give SO2, all right? And then the SO2 can react in rainwater, or with rainwater actually. It can react with water essentially to form acidic oxide. Well, it is an acidic oxide, but when it dissolves in water, it can form acidic solution. And guess what? That is acid rain. They just want you to form the acid rain. That should be it. And you should know that when you have limestone building, it can corrode. Limestone building. So limestone building refer to like marble. So I think one of the most important marble building will be the Taj Mahal. So the Taj Mahal is a mosque in India, very famous mosque. So if you have acid rain in India, that can corrode the limestone buildings. Sulfur dioxide. What environmental problem can cause acid rain? Balancing equation. So when you have FeS2 plus oxygen, you form SO2, you form Fe2O3. The easiest thing to balance is probably there's 2 iron there, so put a 2 there. There is now 2 times 2, there is now 4 sulfur, 2 times 2, put a 4 there. There is now 4 times 2, there is 8 oxygen there, there's 3 oxygen, 1 times 3, 8 plus 3 is 11. I would go 11 over 2. 11 over 2 times 2, guess what, 11. So nice and easy, okay? Some people really like the whole thing multiplied by 2. There is no problem whatsoever with this. It is the use of fractions. Whether you're at O-level or L-level, you will not be penalized for having a balanced equation that involves fractions, okay? If one used for sulfur dioxide, you use it as food preservative. Although going back to the previous point, I guess, if your teacher really doesn't like multiples, doesn't really like fractions, I guess, follow whatever is your teacher says, I guess, but at the same time, try to think for yourself as well, yeah.